Welcome, viewer. The Knights Templars. Because nothing says holy men of God like secret rituals, conspiracy theories, buried treasure, and getting violently wiped out by the king who owed them money. Welcome to a new playlist where we dive headfirst into the pious madness. Imagine a hill so sacred, so utterly marinated in millennia of religious obsession, that 3 world religions have fought over it like toddlers fighting over the last biscuit. Welcome to the Temple Mount, the spiritual hotspot where monotheism goes to shout at itself. But before mosques and myths, this was allegedly the site of Solomon's temple. A place so drenched in legend it makes Camelot look like a travelogue. And it's here that our band of sword-wielding holy accountants, the Templars, decided to set up shop. Because what screams peaceful pilgrimage protection, like a heavily armed religious militia with a bank? The Temple Mount is a giant platform, originally just a hill, until King Herod the Great came along around 25 to 10 BC and said, "Let's pave the damn thing and build something colossal." Herod's temple was massive. Think Roman ego meets divine real estate. And Herod's temple wasn't just big, it was divinely overcompensating. Imagine the Vatican had a baby with a Roman sports stadium and then gave it a glow-up. It was that big. Jesus, in true party-pooping prophet fashion, said, "There shall not be left one stone upon another." Spoiler alert, he wasn't kidding. The Romans razed it to the ground in 70 AD. Titus, emperor and amateur demolition enthusiast, took care of that during an incident called the Jewish Revolt. But rewind further, way further, and you land at the original Temple of Solomon, circa 962 BC. Built by King Solomon, son of David and Bathsheba, king of Israel, and biblical overachiever. Solomon expanded trade, crushed tribal squabbles, and most importantly built 2 key things, a palace and a really fancy box house for God. Almost all our knowledge of this temple comes from the Old Testament. And you know the accuracy of ancient scripture, somewhere between helpful historical guide and creative writing dissertation. Fast forward to 586 BC, enter the Assyrians. They storm Jerusalem, burn the temple down and cart everyone off to Babylon. Cue the famous biblical misery ballad, "By the rivers of Babylon we sat down and wept." Eventually the Persians rock up, overthrow the Assyrians, and Cyrus the Great says, "All right, lads, you can go home and rebuild your temple." Which they do in 520 BC, more budget-friendly this time. Less gold, more grit. This second temple stood on the same spot, and while it lacked Solomon's bling, it kept the spiritual Wi-Fi strong. Then came Alexander the Great. He crushed the Persians, left a trail of statues and fatherless children, and handed the cultural baton to the Greeks. Romans followed with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Palestine, as they now called it, came under Rome in 63 BC. But here's the twist. The Romans actually gave the Jews a king. Enter Herod the Great, the man who looked at a holy site and thought, you know what this needs? A bigger temple and maybe a casino. He rebuilt it, refurbished, expanded, added some serious architectural flex, but kept the name Second Temple because divine branding matters. Too bad it got flattened again within a century. Now, here's where it gets delightfully bonkers. The prophet Ezekiel, while in Babylon, had a vision, not of liberation, not of revenge, but of a third temple, a holy HGTV project from God himself. Blueprints, measurements, the lot, except it never existed. It was pure righteous daydreaming, the architectural equivalent of imagining your ex begging to get back together. Still, Ezekiel's temple became the spiritual North Star, a symbol of longing. And if you think only Jews cared, think again. Christians took the metaphor and sprinted with it. In the Gospel of John, Jesus himself says, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up," which confused everyone until someone went, "Oh, he meant himself." So now Jesus is the new temple, and heaven is the new Jerusalem. Basically, who needs buildings when you've got divine abs and a resurrection? So where do our beloved Templars come in? Well, they park their armoured behinds right on the Temple Mount. Because if you're going to found a monastic military order with a side hustle in banking, why not do it on the holiest, most politically sensitive ground on earth? After all, nothing says spiritual enlightenment like swords, secrecy, and suspicious amounts of gold. So, viewer, what did we learn today? That if you build it, they will come and destroy it. That the Temple of Solomon is the historical equivalent of Schrodinger's building, existing somewhere between scripture, symbol, and smouldering ruins. And that the Templars were less humble knights of God and more armed squatters on a myth. Religion, never knowingly underdramatic. Don't get too comfortable. The Knights Templars will be an ongoing series. Did you spot the Easter egg? This one is a tricky one. Follow for more history drenched in sarcasm and dread.